So that's me. That's me up there. So I'm Justin. I am a recent graduate from Sheridan College, and I'm an image maker and photographer. That's my self-portrait up there. It was recently in the In Focus exhibition, which you guys heard about earlier. Definitely submit to that. So I wouldn't be here without that image. Thank you. So I love a bold beginning. This is a pregnant cow queen. My work is really inspired by kind of queer art, drag. I'm really interested in kind of like just kind of weird concepts. A prominent element in my work is digital effects and image making. So I'm sort of always looking to improve and step up like what kind of effects I'm using. This is Google Deep Dream, which is sort of like how AI will dream. So I incorporated that texture into the heart, and it kind of made this weird organic. So I realized that the effects that I use are they need to be integral to the image. So the powder sparkle dust sort of looks like it's coming kind of off of his face makeup. And so when you are sort of matching texture and like context to the effects to what your image is, it really makes a better image. So this is me. I began exploring drag. This is Viper. It's an image from a narrative book where I become an art piece, and this is sort of like a very sensual picture from that. Another thing that I find is very important is to just kind of let your mind play. Just like entertain yourself with a picture. Take the dumbest picture you can and like just make something crazy out of it. And that's kind of what I did there. It's sort of just like removing your doubt, removing your filters. We're gonna move along into fashion. I'm a little nervous. This is getting quite fast. This is using an agency model here. Sometimes when using agency models, I really wish that I were to shoot the images that I want and not what they want. That's a little tip for any of you fashion photographers. This was one of my favorite shoots I ever did. I felt like just all the stars aligned. The model was perfect. His skin was perfect. He was very French. He was a little late, and he goes, "I'm sorry for my late." And it was so perfect. And I just felt after, like none of the shoots that I did were as like perfect as I felt that this was. And that was kind of like a real disheartening, like little beatdown. It just felt like after every shoot, I was kind of like, when am I gonna get this like American Dream shoot again? I never released this. I just felt like there was too many elements. Sometimes when you're working with like lots of different textures, lots of options, you sort of have to be very decisive in like what your aesthetic decisions are. And I found that it can be very difficult when you work with kind of so many different things. This is a 50-foot woman-inspired shoot. It's kind of like 50s, those bug movies where the giant mantis is attacking. This is a real sculpture. It's an 8-foot tall praying mantis. And so I felt that that was kind of like an interesting way to incorporate like an art piece into a piece of work. So I graduated Sheridan, and then I no longer had studio access. That sucks. I'd been shooting in studio for so long, and I kind of had to like go out into the real world without like, literally just had my camera, I had one light. And so this is when I met Steven. He's my now boyfriend. Wow. And he's a phenomenal oil painter. So this is kind of when we began to have like true collaboration. It's sort of like the style that he was using and my style of photography kind of meshed in this really beautiful way. And he was using these pictures for reference pictures, and it kind of became like a really beautiful collaboration. I would see the work that he would make in paintings, and it would sort of be like kind of a big fueling inspirational circle. So it sort of forces you to view your work in kind of a different context. When you think of how a painting would be, a painting is very important. I don't really like Instagram because it's so quick, you don't really pay attention. But for something like this, if you take an image and you go, this is going to be a painting, you kind of give it a little bit more value, which I like. We did a bunch of pool images. We were shooting for like a full week, and we did 5 shoots. And this is kind of where I really like to use like specialized materials to kind of help out my process. This is a plexiglass mirror, and that's kind of how I got that. So this is iconic. I was so excited. I recently got studio access. Woohoo! So I just started working with a photographer, and summer was a challenge, but I definitely grew from not being able to work in studio. I was sort of, so I was kind of more open to like a darker, more raw style, something that's imperfect, something that is kind of a little bit more interesting than just kind of a perfect studio image. So the summer experience definitely helped me in that regard. In my current work, I'm casting models just on the street, mall, studio, and being a photographer sort of gives you the opportunity to meet whoever you want to meet. If you can photograph someone, you can meet them. And it's sort of, I really want to photograph people on a consistent basis, kind of the same roster of people, building trust, comfort in a relationship, and kind of just cast someone who I want to work with consistently. That's all my time, but if you liked my work, you can follow me on Instagram at justinatkins.ca. And if you have any questions or anything, feel free to approach me after. Thanks.